Hello and welcome to Minnesota Online High School, or as we like to call it, MNOHS. I am Jen Millard and I will be your counselor while you're with us. I understand that you are a supplemental learner, so that means that you're here at MNOHS just taking maybe one or two classes, but you will be graduating from your brick and mortar high school that you are also attending. So welcome. I'm going to be your main support person here. So if you have any questions about how things are run, anything that's not related directly to an assignment, I'm going to be the person that you should reach out to. I should likely know the answer, and if I don't, I'll definitely know how to get you the answer. Okay, so please make sure to keep my contact information handy. It's at the bottom of this email. I have a texting only number, my phone number, and then of course you have my email address already. So please feel free to reach out to me in any of those ways with anything you might need. So the purpose of this video is just to replace the email that I sent you, because I know that the email is a little lengthy and not everybody likes to do that much reading. So this will cover everything that's in that email. So the first thing that I want to ask, and this will require you to respond back to the email, is to please let me know if there's any supports that you currently have in place that help you so you can be more successful at school. So typically that would be a 504 or an IEP. And if you don't know what those things are, you don't have one. Okay, so then don't worry about it. And then there's no need to respond back unless you'd like to just let me know that you don't have one. Okay, then I would like to encourage you to open up that email while you're watching this and look at your schedule. I've included that just a couple paragraphs down in the email, and I'll kind of walk you through what you see there. So your schedule might be just 1 quarter long, it might be a semester, it might be a whole year. Okay, I'm going to assume it's a whole year. And if it's not, you are more than welcome to be here a whole year, but maybe you just haven't looked that far forward. Okay, but you'll see across the top of your schedule that it says that we are on quarters. So we have 4 quarters here, and each quarter is 8 weeks long. Okay, and so how that works here is every Monday, starting on the first day of school, which is the 12th of September, we will have a weekly folder that opens for you. So starting on the 12th of September, when you log into Blackboard, which is our system that houses all of our classes, you will see all of your classes show up at 8 a.m. on that date. Okay, when you go into your individual classes, you will see that you have a Part 1 weekly folder on the left side. When you click on that, it's going to let you access all of your Part 1 folders. And in the beginning, you're only going to see week 1. Okay, you can only see the weekly folders as they release. So each Monday, starting on the 12th, you will have a new weekly folder that opens. So on the 12th, you'll have week 1. Then when you go back after 8 a.m. on the 19th, you'll see week 2 and week 1, and so on. So each week we'll keep adding a new folder. So you'll always have access to past weeks, but you don't have access to future weeks until that week opens. Okay, and what we hope is that within that week, so starting on Monday the 12th through Sunday night, that during those 7 days that you'll be able to get through all of the assignments that you see in your weekly folder. Okay, how you complete them is really up to you. We like to encourage you to hop online a few days a week and make continual progress. But if you find that maybe just working 1 or 2 days a week for one class works for you, let's say you're here taking Chinese and you only have one class, if you want to only work 1 day a week on it and you're able to get through all of your assignments, that works as well. Okay, like I said, what we're really looking for is that you're able to get through all of the assignments in the weekly folder by Sunday night, so that when Monday morning rolls around, you are able to get ready and move on to that new weekly folder when it opens. Okay, then at the end of week 8, you will get a final grade. We don't roll grades into semester grades or year-long grades unless your school counselor contacts me and requests that. We can do that for you, but that is not typically how we handle grades here at MNOHS. Also, we grade here slightly different. It might have been how your school was grading back during COVID, but we've decided to continue it. So we grade on an A, B, C scale like normal. So if you get anywhere from a 70 to a 100%, you're going to get a standard grade. If you get between 60 and 69%, you are going to get a P, which means you've passed the class, you've earned the credit, but haven't quite reached high enough to get a letter grade. which means it also doesn't impact your GPA, okay? And then if you're not able to pass the class, you get an NC, meaning no credit, meaning you haven't earned enough credit to get that credit that will post to your transcript. Again, the perk to that is that it too does not impact your GPA. So we like to kind of take the worry out of worrying about letter grades and let you focus more on learning and, you know, what's going on day to day within your class. Okay, so that's kind of what you'll see up at the top. You'll also see where it says quarters that the dates of the quarters are listed out. The most important thing to know about that is twofold. Number one, the first 2 days of every quarter are set aside for orientation and kickoff. Okay, and so for you to know what's going on those days, you're going to want to log into our student activities. You will see that show up on your list of classes, and I'll mention it more down below. Okay, but then on the third day, which for quarter one is September 12th, that's the day that all of your classes are going to open. So that will be the same carried out through every quarter. The first 2 days of every quarter are for orientation and kickoff. The third day is when classes will open. Doesn't matter if you're a new student or not. That's how it always works. Okay, so that means that after quarter one, you're going to have an extra day on the start of quarter 2, 3, and 4, because now you're not a new student. So you don't need to do that new orientation on the first day. So you'll see that it does tell you the start and end dates of each quarter, but just know that depending on if you're a new student or not, you might have a few more days off there in between quarters. And that's really when we have most of our time off. So that's the other thing I wanted to point out about those dates. We don't do a lot of extra days off like typical brick and mortar schools would do. We do our days off at the end of the quarters. And then also we do have a fall break that falls over the Thanksgiving holiday, and we have a winter break that falls between Christmas and New Year's. So we'll have those dates, but otherwise we don't follow many of the other traditional school days off. If you do want to see our calendar and find our actual days off, if you scroll down to the bottom of this email, you'll see a link to our calendar that will show you all of our district days. Okay. So then if we move down on that schedule, you'll see the first thing on there is student activities, which I did mention that we would like you to go to one of the first 2 days or both of the first 2 days of the quarter. And that's going to explain you what's going on those days here at MNOHS, okay? But the other really cool thing in there is that that's kind of our resource room. Since we don't have a brick and mortar main office for you to go to, this is where you're going to find everything that you might be wondering about MNOHS, okay? And again, if you can't find it, come talk to me. But we've got lots of great information in there about like how to contact your counselors, how to learn about applying to colleges, how to find out about different careers. We have a wellness room in there that, or a calming room that has different activities for you to help kind of decompress and reduce your stress if you're feeling stressed out. So there's just a lot of really great information in there. So I'd like to encourage you to go in and just explore, okay? That's not a graded assignment. That's not a class. It's just a resource. So you will not receive a grade for that, but it will stay on your schedule as long as you're here, okay? Then again, if you're a new student, you're going to see tech orientation as the second item on your schedule. And that is a one-time short class we would like you to do, but it is not graded because largely it's because it only takes 2 to 3 hours to complete it. But that's going to help you understand how everything works here through technology. So it's going to help you find your classes. It's going to help you learn how to open up assignments, how to submit assignments, that type of thing. It's also going to help you get your email address set up, okay? Because we are going to give you a MNOHS email address, and that's how your teachers and I will communicate with you 99% of the time. So we are going to encourage you to get that set up right away and make sure to check it daily or at least every other day, okay? So it's really important that you get through that technology orientation, and that's one of the things that we do ask you to do on one of those 2 first days of your first quarter here. So make sure to get through that. Once you complete it at 100%, we'll take it off your schedule forever. Okay, you don't have to do it again. It's just do it once when you first start and then you're done with it. Okay, then moving down below that is the courses or course that you will be taking here at MNOHS. You may have 1, you may have 4, or any combination in between, but those are the classes you're taking. So make sure that looks correct according to what you and your homeschool counselor have decided on. We do our best, but sometimes we do make mistakes. So definitely let me know if something doesn't look right or if you have a question about it. The one thing that I want to point out in there is that our classes are set up as A and B and part 1 and part 2. So what that means is while we are on quarters, most of our classes are semester long. So for any of our year-long classes, they are set up, so let's say World Literature. It's a senior year language arts class. World Literature has a World Literature A and a World Literature B. A means that it's in first semester and B means it's in second semester. Then within each of those semesters, you'll see a part 1 and a part 2. So for quarter 1, you likely see World Literature A, part 1. And then for quarter 2, you would see World Literature A, part 2. The same would go for B. So in third quarter, you would see World Literature B, part 1. And then in fourth quarter, World Literature B, part 2. So that just really helps us to keep track of which of the 4 parts of a year-long class or even a semester-long class you've taken. So why that's important to you though, is that when you are starting a class, you want to make sure on the left-hand menu of your class, when you go into it, that you're clicking on the right part of the work to do. Typically, you'll only see the correct part. So in quarter 1, you should log in and you'll probably only see part 1. But if you see part 2, that doesn't mean that you're supposed to do it unless it's on your schedule. And if you're not sure, check in with me, okay? I will be able to very easily tell you which part you're supposed to be working on. But we want to make sure that you're spending your time on the part that you need, okay? So pay attention to what part it says. You can ask your teacher. It's probably quicker just to ask me or refer back to this email. I definitely encourage you to keep this email because it has a lot of great resources in it, okay? Beyond that, you'll see down at the bottom of the email, I'm kind of clicking through it with you as we go here, that I do have some resources. Like I had stated, I have the school calendar, I have our attendance policy. Even though you're not a full-time student here, we do still have to take attendance just like your brick and mortar school would do. So the way we are taking attendance is we're watching if you're getting through your weekly folders, okay? So like I mentioned, your weekly folder will open on a Monday and we want you to have that work done by Sunday. If you're able to get through all of your assignments, then that tells us you're working. As long as we can see that you've submitted all those assignments, things are peachy, okay? If the next Monday comes around, so let's say week 2, that opens on September 19th, if week 2 rolls around and maybe you haven't turned in anything, or maybe you've turned in 1 or 2 assignments, but you still have 4 or 5 left to do, that tells us you're not working enough. And that's when we start to reach out to you, encourage you to work more. And we do also let your family know as well that, hey, we need to encourage you to be working and submitting assignments more often, okay? Because that's really how we track your progress here, is based on the number of assignments you're submitting and that you are keeping your grade up above 60%, because of course that's passing, and that's of course always the end goal, right, is to pass your classes. So if it happens that you're not keeping on track with your classes, I will be reaching out to your counselor and your family just to make sure that everybody is on board and everybody understands what's going on here, because we don't want you to fall behind. That just tends to have a snowball effect over the quarter. So just keep that in mind, that, you know, we will be letting your homeschool know if attendance is a problem here. Okay, but again, the attendance policy is there in the email as well. Okay, and that takes us to the end of the email. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Remember, I did already ask you though to respond back to me, just letting me know if you do have any struggles or if you have any questions about your schedule. So make sure to do that. But otherwise, you should be all set to go. You should be receiving your contact login information email very soon if you haven't already. If you don't receive it by the 10th, nope, sorry, the 9th. The 9th is Friday. If you don't receive it by September 9th, definitely let me know and we will make sure to resend it to you, because we might have just had a typo in an email address or something simple like that. Okay, but otherwise, again, I welcome you to MNOHS and I hope you have a wonderful experience here. Thanks.